Well, good morning everyone, hope you are all well. It's been a little while since I've done a video on Intercruises, and that's because I did quite a few near the beginning and I didn't want to bore people, but obviously I've picked up a number of subscribers since then, so I thought I'd do a little video on Intercruises. As you can see behind me, I've got it up on the coach ready. It's kind of mid-morning in the yard, as you can see here, got a high-vis on and all that stuff. You hear beeping and coaches behind me. I'm about to just go grab some fuel, and then we're running dead up to Carlisle. Staying overnight and ready for an early morning start down to Southampton. So that's what we're on today, running up dead to Carlisle, and we'll see what happens a bit later on, eh? The videos I have done on Intercruises have mostly been the journeys down, the journeys back, that kind of stuff. I thought it might be interesting to do something slightly different. So the first thing we're doing here is the run into Carlisle itself. So we come off the motorway, and it's only a couple of minutes off the motorway here, just down and into the car park. It's the front entrance to the hotel's on the other side. We park around the back. And it's just spin the coach round, park it up, ready for the morning, and so this is just the run into Carlisle, really. Okay, we've made it. We're at junction 44 of the M6 Premier Inn here at well, it's not a services, it's kind of just off the motorway really. But anyway, this is our rest stop for the night. It's also our pickup for the morning, so we're going to roll down in the morning, pick some passengers up, and we'll be on our way down south. I've already met a few passengers who are themselves checking in for the night, because of course it's silly early o'clock in the morning start, so much better for everyone if people stay over. So that's it. We're going to go find some dinner. Coach is all sorted, and we'll see what happens in the morning. Good morning everyone, hope you're well. So it's about 3:15 in the morning. I'm up in the hotel room, as you can see, just doing a quick video taking in the mirror against myself, just for a different camera angle. I already know that some people staying in the hotel here are on my coach tomorrow, because I met them last night, so I won't have time to do this when I get down to the coach. They'll undoubtedly be waiting down there for me when I get there. So doing it now. So we're just going to go down to the coach. It's 3:15 in the morning. Do the walk round check. We leave at 4 o'clock. Then we've got a stop at Lancaster on the way down to Southampton, and we'll probably have a rest stop at Norton Keynes on the way down as well. So let's see what today holds, eh? Well, we've arrived at Lancaster. We're just waiting outside the Holiday Inn here where our pickup is. We're a little bit early, so we're just waiting for some passengers to come, pick them up, and then we'll get on our way down. So there was 5 coaches at, where were we, Carlisle. I've never had so many coaches there, but so it was a bit crazy. Lots and lots of people, as I expected, waiting when we got downstairs, but that's fine. I only had 11 there, so, and 8 of those were all one family, so easy, get mine on, off we go. As I say, we're a little bit early here at Lancaster, but we'll see what happens. We're going to have a stop, I think, at Norton Keynes on the M6 toll, on the way down, and we'll see what happens with the traffic on the way down after that. So catch up soon, gang. The other thing I haven't really shown much of is what happens when we actually get into the port itself. So as you can see here, we usually put the pot on the left hand side here underneath this nice cover, which is great if it's raining, of course. But it's pull up, follow the directions of the staff there. Passengers are getting in the way, not looking, but that's fine. Wait for the beep. There we go. But anyway, so you can just about see the high-vis here of the Intercruise staff on the left. They're about to do the check-in. But they've got guys marshalling and stuff, as you can see. It's going to tell me where exactly he wants to park, which is fine. At this point, it's then pull up. Someone from Intercruises gets on, does a little talk. The passengers all get off, luggage stays on. So once the passengers are all off and making their way down to the terminal, you can see in front, we then go around and down the side to the luggage pod area. So we're just going to go down there now. And when you get down there, it's, as you'd imagine, pull up and stop, get the lockers open, some more staff then take all the cases off. What I do, I won't show it because obviously it's just stopped there with nothing on screen, but what I do when we do that is I then open the offside lockers on the coach, go around, and just help push cases through that are on that offside, because they've got all the way across the width of the coach in order to get the cases in. So I'll just push those across to the near side and help the guys out so they don't have to crawl into the coach to actually get those ones on that offside. So we'll help those guys do that. The cases then go from here, they go through security, through scanning, onto the ship, and they are then delivered to cabins at some point in the afternoon. Okay, once that's done here now, we obviously just go down to the bottom, spin round, come back up, and then Intercruise staff will do a locker check, which is basically just a scan in the lockers, make sure there's no left cases. They check all the lockers that we use and that kind of stuff, make sure no one's left anything, because you'd imagine being on a ship and finding your case was left on the coach would be a bit of a nightmare. But anyway, so locker check, and they'll also, either me or one of the cruise staff will just have a go around the inside of the coach as well, and just look for any obvious items that have been left. It is possible to reunite items with passengers on the ship. It does depend what it is, if it's just something minor, they may not. If it's a bit more major, like lost property, clothing, anything like that, then they do try and reunite that with the person on the ship. Otherwise, it just goes back into our usual, take it back to our depot in our usual procedures. Remember this guy, he'll come up later. But anyway, so this is us on the way around to the locker check, and I like having a bit of a play with the staff here, as you're about to find out. But anyway, once the locker check is done, we're then free to go. If there's time, if there's space, and we need a break, like a 45 or something, and there's space and time, we can have it here. But if it's super busy like it is on some of the big ships, we just have to get out of there. I often go up to Rownham's, which is on the M27 north of Southampton, or I'll go to Cheveley Services, which you'll see in a bit. Gonna get you.
That's the second person that's trying to run me over. Have you checked inside?
No. Hang on, let me open lockers first.
Okay,
Well, okay, we are down at Southampton. Great rundown, no traffic anywhere, none on the A30, A34, M40 junction, almost none on the M27, M3 down this end, and down through town was normal as it is, so no problems whatsoever. So down in Southampton now, I've got to now go back to Nottingham, so I've got 3 hours 40 drive time left on my 10 hours on my tacho, and it's a 3 hour 30 run, but there's an accident on the A34. So we'll see what happens, eh? We'll go and see if we make it in time or not, otherwise I have to call up and then I have to get me a hotel and stay out for another night, which I had kind of just thought might happen, so I have stuff with me. But anyway, down at Southampton, about to run back to Nottingham. Okay gang, we're at Cheveley Services. I often stop here, as you probably know. Anyway, I've done 4 hours and something or other on this particular block, so I've got to stop for a 45. So I've stopped up here at Cheveley. I'm going to have a break and then we'll get on our way to Nottingham. It's still tight. I've got 10 minutes to spare leeway on my 10 hours back to Nottingham. That's pretty tight. That doesn't allow for any traffic. So I've had a quick chat with our traffic office. We're just going to see what happens after the 45 and see what the drive time left is. Obviously they need time to find and book a hotel. I can't, turn around with 10 minutes to spare and just say, oh look, I've only got 10 minutes left, that's it, I'm stopping, because that doesn't work for them. So obviously we've got to make a judgment call early enough for them to be able to book something. So we'll see in 45 minutes time when I give them a call and see whether I'm staying out another night or not. It feels like a little while since I've done a bit of a talking head, so we're just leaving Cheveley services. So I've had a 45 there, just leaving, and we're now gonna get our way back to Nottingham. So just a couple of things I thought I'd say, because I say a little while since I've done one, I've got to concentrate on where I'm going. Excellent. Where am I going? Oxford A34, this sounds good. Right, yeah, a couple of things to say. So this morning, so did Carlisle, pulled out of Lancaster, and it's just off the motorway, the actual pickup I've already in, you've seen that already. Pulled back onto the motorway, up the slipway, and just as I get on the actual motorway, another coach comes, you know, up alongside me, and we ended up, you know, just running together. I don't like it when you run like literally next to another coach. Usually one coach is just a little bit faster than the other one, you know, just because of the inconsistencies of tachos. Usually one is quicker than the other, especially with mine, because my coach only do 61. So according to Google Maps, if you check it, you know, when you're rolling along, it says 61, not 62. So what that means is that generally other coaches are a little bit quicker than me. But anyway, so as a coach from options coaches, options executive, doing another Intercruise actually. But anyway, so we ended up running together, and like we were like really together. Like I was right behind him, and he was going like almost exactly the same speed as me. I think I was going just fractionally faster, but like really close. And as I say, I don't like running behind a coach like that, because actually you end up running just a little bit too close to each other. And of course, neither of you really want to back down and kind of slow off. But I thought, no, I'm gonna you know, just relax off the gas. Just, you only have to do it for like 10-15 seconds just to build up a gap, and then go back up to 62 again, and you just run together but with a decent gap between you. Anyway, so I did that, dropped back a little bit, and off we carried on again after that. But it was, so that was from Lancaster. So of course it's still early in the morning. What time is it, like Lancaster? 5:45, 6 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. Of course it's not busy on the motorway. This is the M6, of course, not busy that time of day. And I basically just very slowly caught him back up again. That's why I know I was going just a fraction quicker, but it took like miles and miles to catch him back up again. But I did just about sort of, you know, just really slowly kind of reel him in, catching him back up again. And so I tried it again, you know, just backed off a little bit, gave a little bit of space. But of course, you know, as soon as something happens on the motorway, you know, like a car pulls out or a lorry pulls out or whatever, and one of you has to slow down when the other one doesn't, especially if that's the front person, of course you immediately catch them back up again. And of course you can't accelerate away to create a gap. So we ended up running together, and a couple of bits I was sort of in lane 2, especially when there's a 4-lane section. Not so bad on a 4-lane section. I was in lane 2, he was in lane 1, and you know, we were kind of running together. Anyway, so we ran like that from Lancaster all the way down the M6 to where the M6 toll splits off, because I was going M6 toll because I was going to Norton Keynes, and he obviously was going the other way. I'm guessing he had to pick up one of the other services around Birmingham, means he couldn't go toll way. Anyway, so I split off on the toll, he went the other way, and that was that. You know, went into Norton Keynes, had a break, came back out, and about 3/4 of an hour later, guess who I see up in front of me, slowly catching up again. There he was again. So obviously we've just managed to work out that I'd gone in, had a break and come out, and he'd gone in, had a break, picked passengers up or whatever, because I wasn't picking up, come back out again, back onto the M6, so we ended up running together again, which I thought was quite funny. I saw him up ahead and thought, surely that's not the same guy, and yes it was. there's obviously more than one options executive coach out today on Intercruise. It didn't have to be him, but it was him. And so we then ran together, and both went. So this was on the M40 by this point. M40, A34 down to Southampton, and we pretty much ran in fairly close proximity all the way to Southampton. It was quite funny, really. You know, he'd get a little bit ahead because of whatever, then I'd get a little bit ahead because of whatever. But like, we ran within like 2 minutes, or even less, maybe even a minute of each other, all the way to Southampton. So we did Lancaster with a little break in the middle, all the way to Southampton, went together, and it was quite funny. We went slightly different ways around Southampton. I've talked about that in the past. There's a few different ways around Southampton, and I have my own little preferred routes and whatever. But anyway, so then I saw him as I was coming off the luggage pod. He was queuing to go up, so I flagged him down and just said, I've never run with a coach for so long, ever in the past. But anyway, so like hours and hundreds of miles running together, because we were just going, you know, that similar a speed to each other. But anyway, so kind of interesting. So anyway, Mr. Options Executive Driver, if you are watching this, which I doubt you are, but just in case you are, hi, good to run with you. Okay. And the other thing I wanted to say, just as we come down this steep hill, let me make sure I'm not going too fast. Yeah, the other thing I wanted to say is that because, you know, I've said, you know, to anyone I've spoken to about Intercruise, really, that me and Gus, between us or together, have done so many Intercruises now, especially over summer where we were doing loads. We've done so many Intercruises that we've kind of got to know the staff down at the port. Now, of course, it's not just Skills. There's other companies that do a lot of Intercruise. Ellison's do a lot, Acklam's do a lot. What else have you got? You've got Weardale do a lot, and then some other companies. What's that one? Bristol based, Bristol Way, Barclay. You've got Leon's. See quite a few Welshes. I've started seeing a few Roberts as well. But anyways, there's and there's the Davison VIP guy in his dark red Van Hall that you see all the time. Anyway, there's quite a few people who do Intercruise an awful lot, and I know some of the Ellison's guys are actually employed to do Intercruise only. Anyway, so when you go down to the port an awful lot every weekend or multiple times a weekend, you get to know the people on Intercruise down there. So it's always a good laugh, you know. You kind of pull up and say hi and how you doing and catch up on what's going on, and you know, you get to learn stuff about people, and it's all just all very friendly, and it's really nice. It's really nice having that kind of rapport with people down there. And it also, you know, people like me and Gus who take extra care and look after our coaches, you know, the Intercruise guys down there know to trust us. You know, they trust that our coaches are going to be in a good state. You know, they trust that our toilets are going to be up to standard, and they will still check, of course, because that's part of their role. They have to check, but they know that you know, our coaches are good and clean and nice and suitable. So, but yeah, it's really nice just to chat to them and say hi, and you know, kind of all that kind of stuff. Just, you know, if you get a few minutes down in Southampton. But today was an interesting one because I know that some of the Intercruises staff know about this YouTube channel already, but obviously it's quite a lot of them, really. You know, you get to learn names and faces, but there's quite a few of them, and obviously they're not all on every day, obviously, so they kind of do they have some variety of shift system themselves that they work. But of course, not everyone knows about the channel, but it just so happened that a few more people down there today were like, oh, we heard about your YouTube channel, we were watching your videos, and it's all really interesting. And so yeah, so hello Intercruises stuff. It's really great to chat with you guys down at Southampton, and it'd be interesting, you know, one of the times that me and Gus are both staying over in Southampton, which of course we still do quite regularly at the moment, but anyway, one of the times that we and Gus stay over, it'd be quite fun actually just to kind of meet up for a drink in the evening. I don't know if that's possible or not, but I don't know, Intercruises people, let me know. Yeah, hi Intercruises people. So there we are, as a glimpse into what can happen as a coach driver when you do a lot of Intercruises like I do. But I enjoy it, it's good work, and I think it suits me, it suits my driving, you know, it suits my customer service skills, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I like doing Intercruises. So we are on the way back to Nottingham now. The only issue I've got is that it's going to be tight on my driving time. So I think I've talked about driving hours a bit in the past, but one of the rules, one of many of the driving hours rules, is that we can't drive more than 10 hours in one day. So that's actual wheel turning time, actually physical driving. So if you are stopped, obviously on a rest, that doesn't count. But if you are stopped or if you're doing other work, that also doesn't count. So it's literal, you know, moving along the road driving time. So anyway, you got 10 hours driving time limit in a day. And because I came down from Carlisle this morning, so that we had a really good rundown, actually a really good rundown. Didn't hit almost any traffic whatsoever, just a couple little tiny pockets. So that was good, but that took what, 6 hours? It was 6 hours 20. 6 hours 20 wheel time to get down from Carlisle to Southampton, which means that I've only got 3 hours 40. Sorry, that was right over the camera then, waving another driver. Only got 3 hours 40 drive time left, and we know it's pretty much standardly 3 hours 30 drive time back to the depot. So it's getting a bit tight. And when I left Southampton, there was an accident on the A34. It was southbound actually. I got through it on the way down okay, but so southbound, but of course rubberneckers, you know, if there's an accident one way, there's always slow traffic going the other. So I wasn't still not entirely sure I can make it back to Nottingham in 3.5 hours. So all we can do in that situation is to, well, I mean, I rang our traffic office from Southampton to tell them, you know, I'm not sure, I can get going, we'll see what happens. Obviously got a little bit of time spare. Yeah, got going, stopped at Cheveley, checked again at Cheveley, where we just left now, and it is indeed still showing only 10 minutes leeway. Which is in theory easy enough. You don't need more than 1 minute extra, you know, as long as I get back to the depot within that 10 hours, I'm all good. But obviously 10 minutes is not very long, it's not very long leeway. You've only got to hit a little bit of traffic and that will stuff you up. And of course, I can't ring my traffic office, like, right, I can't leave it to the last minute. I can't go ring them up and say, oh, I've only got 10 minutes driving time left and I'm still not going to make it. Because what we're going to do then, so, you know, they need time to be able to work out a plan, you know, find another hotel or something en route where I can stop and then have another overnight and finish the journey tomorrow morning. So I can't leave it to the last minute to let them know. So we've left Cheveley, obviously, as you know. We're heading back up now. I said I'd give him a ring in another hour or so. When I've got, you know, the closer you get, the better your time estimation is going to be. So we'll check in again in another, what's going to be, I guess, another 3/4 of an hour or so, and see how we're doing. I mean, yeah, I'd much prefer to get home tonight, obviously, rather than having another night out. But I knew this was a possibility. It was always going to be tight. So I did pack extra, shall we say, extra items in my case. That I would need if I needed to stay out another night. So it's not a problem staying out another night, I can do. It'll obviously have a knock-on impact on my jobs for next week, because I'm on 2-day 45-hour rest, starting back again on Tuesday, because it's, hang on, what day is Saturday today, so yeah, I was going to have Sunday, Monday off, and then start back on Tuesday. But if I had to stay out overnight, that would kind of put pay to that plan, and that would have to change. But anyway, so it's not ideal. Much prefer to get back tonight, but you can't always. Oh, bit of a bump in the road there. I knew that was there. Come on. There we go. We'll let him out. Anyway, so yeah, much prefer to get back tonight, but we'll have to see. So, all right, we'll go for a bit longer and see how we're doing. Drive time left to Nottingham. Right. I can't think of anything else to say. So in the case, I'll leave it there. Okay, guys. Probably not the end of the video quite yet. Let's see if I can remember to do another video when I get back to the depot, or possibly when I stop at a hotel, depending on what happens with the traffic. But hey, okay, all right, see you soon, gang. Okay, we're back at the yard. Hannah's all fueled up, toilet dropped, cleaned, all that kind of stuff, and parked up. I've just got to do the inside now, and she's all done. I'm on 2 days off now, so I'm guessing someone else will have her for the next couple of days. So we did make it back, obviously. Since we're here, we made it back with about 15 minutes to spare on our 9 hours, so 10 hours, sorry. So about 9 hours, what's that, 9 hours 45 driving today, which is quite a lot, but nonetheless, no problem. So all good, and that's it. That's a kind of day and a half, I suppose, in the life of an Intercruises run. Right, guys, as always, take care. Please subscribe if you don't already subscribe. Have a check out on the Instagram, which is also at Ride with Robin Videos. I try and post a picture up every day I'm working, just kind of where I am, just one picture. But anyway, follow that if you're on Instagram. And as always, drive safe. I'll see you again in the next one.